I found myself in the attic of my grandparents' house one day, together with my grandfather. And I noticed that on the floor of the attic there was a small door, maybe 60, maybe 70 centimeters on each side. I haven't noticed that door before, so I asked my grandfather, what is it? That was a secret storage area I used mostly for grain. He opened the door. I was a little boy, I just jumped inside. It wasn't very deep, less than half a meter, maybe 40 centimeters. The size of this storage area was the same as the room underneath. So the bottom of the storage area was the ceiling of the room below. Once I was inside, I was able to crouch down and then walk around that space. And the door was more of a lid than a door. It wasn't on hinges. When it was in use, the way it would work is that they would put the lid on the hole and then redo the whole flooring on top. Now, it wasn't wood or cement or anything like that. It's just a mix of ground, like earth, and some straws and some water. Then it would dry up and you'd have a thin sheet of flooring, which was the same across the whole attic. To take something out of the storage, that was only done at night, using the light of a candle or so. And you would need to very carefully mask the square where the door is, where the lid is. So you could try to just follow the edge of the lid and reuse the same earth mix that was on top. Maybe use a little water to seal it back. But the risk was that a square shape would be visible. So sometimes you ended up redoing that side of the flooring on top of the door. Also at night you would use the grain to make bread. The ceiling of the room under the storage was actually lower than the ceiling of any other room of the house. And this would have been obvious to anyone. So when they built the house, they made it so that all the other rooms of the house were about 1 meter or more higher from the ground than the room below the storage. So there were a few steps that you'd have to climb on to go into any other room. And they didn't match the ceilings, of course, because then it would be obvious that the floors were at different heights. Rather, it was just confusing enough that, in fact, nobody ever discovered it. Unexpectedly, someone would show up and they would be there to collect. They would be sent from the collective farm and they would collect anything and everything you had. My grandparents had a dog which was very aggressive towards these people. And they killed the dog and were rather displeased with my grandparents for having such a misbehaved dog. I have a cheeky question. Which of the following countries do you think my grandparents' house is in? Is it in Bulgaria or Czechoslovakia at the time, or Hungary or Poland or Romania or Estonia or Latvia or Lithuania or Georgia or Moldova or Ukraine? My point is, of course, that all of these countries went through a brutal collectivization of the peasantry. And again, the worst affected, with 6 million deaths from famine. was Ukraine. My grandparents' house is in Romania. My family still owns it, and the attic storage is still there. It might even be a decent place to hide for a murderous dictator. Not that it would be available. Some people have said this to me. Yes, we know, we get it, it's terrible, but it's not your war. So Stalin had the bright idea to collectivize agriculture by force in Eastern Europe and cause untold suffering and death. And then later in the same building, most probably in the same room, another despot decided to go invade Ukraine and cause yet again untold suffering and death. But this time there's only one victim. So it is our war, because our children shouldn't need to deal with any more evil plans coming out of that building. And we should be thankful to Ukraine for bearing this burden in blood alone this time around, and hopefully the last time. Bye bye.